our island, with open arms to everybody that would like to visit from all the neighboring countries. And it's important for us to make sure we celebrate and we remember why we are doing what we're doing,
And as the industry continues to recover from the COVID-19 pandemic and 2 super typhoons, she says it's important to receive that same support back from the community and elected officials. When asked what she would ask of those running in this year's elections.
How is it that you are going to help us with the airlines, with beautifying the entire island? We're in a state of emergency for the tourism industry, really, if you think about it. We want to make sure that when people come to our island, it's also clean for them and it's something that is welcoming to them.
A message she's sending loud and clear that the island's half-a-day spirit of hospitality starts here.
The entire island, we have so many of our own people, our residents, that are employed with the industry, and you're really supporting them. You're supporting the people. So how are you going to help us?
Mitsuki Hirayama, KUAM News.
Well, Guam's future took center stage this past weekend as students, policymakers, and community leaders gathered for a conversation about where the island goes next. Nevaeh Anderson was there and brings us this next story.
As Guam faces big questions about its economy, identity, and future, some of the island's next public leaders are already of Guam. This past Saturday, Master of Public Administration candidates hosted a forum under the guidance of Professor Ronald Uggan for a conversation about where Guam goes from here. The forum's theme, Governance at a Crossroads, Economic Strategy, Cultural Stewardship, and Technology Readiness, focused on how Guam can prepare for rapid economic and technological change without losing the cultural values that define the island. Keynote speaker Lieutenant Governor Joshua Tenorio said Guam has stood at major turning points before, after war, typhoons, and economic hardship, but says this moment may be one of the most defining yet. He said the choices made now will determine whether Guam continues reacting to global forces or starts shaping its own future.
The key is what we do with the lessons of the past. What we do about federal spending we do not design, about supply chains that do not start here and for which we have little influence.
He also argued that Guam's culture is more than heritage, it's an economic asset. In a global market filled with sameness, what makes Guam distinct can also make it competitive.
Visitors do not travel across an ocean to experience what they can find anywhere else. They come for what is rooted here. Our language, our traditions, our food, our sense of place, our sense of community, our environmental policies, our security, our safety. And when we invest in that, it does pay off.
The conversation then turned to a panel of industry experts, fielding questions from students on economic development, government transparency, and federal territorial relations. Atkins Kroll Business Development and Sustainability Director Ernie Galito said Guam still has untapped economic potential, pointing to underutilized assets like Apra Harbor and the airport as possible engines for future growth.
The ship repair facility down in Apra Harbor, in its heyday, provided jobs, provided unique services to the U.S. Navy, things that we can probably take a look at. One of them which should be because of our strategic location, close to Asia, being a U.S. soil with some of the properties of U.S. flag, is providing capabilities for transshipment. Why cannot Federal Express, UPS, Amazon consider Guam as a hub for transshipment?
Meanwhile, Speaker Frank Bloss Jr. pushed back on the idea that the Organic Act prevents progress, saying the bigger challenge is finding ways to work together and think more creatively within the system.
The constraints that we think that we have as a result of the rules that are being imposed, or the rules we think that's being imposed upon us, it provides more of not a restriction but of a challenge. A challenge for us to find, okay, we can't do it this way, how can we do this?
As Guam continues navigating economic uncertainty, cultural preservation, and rapid change, the forum also served as a reminder of the value of bringing different generations to the same table, creating space for future leaders and current decision makers to exchange ideas, challenge assumptions, and help shape a long-term vision for the island. Nevaeh Anderson, KUAM News.
From healthcare, the Department of Public Health has confirmed a pair of new lab-confirmed cases of whooping cough, known scientifically as pertussis, bringing the island's total cases to 15 this year. There have been previously, or are currently, 3 cases, I say, epidemiological links having been identified. Health officials are urging residents to stay up to date on vaccinations as part of the ongoing prevention efforts. A free immunization clinic will be held on the 13th from 10 to 1 at the Barrigada Mayor's office. In education news, will the People's House work together with the front office to find the Sharks a home? Following a call from Acting Governor Josh Tenorio to the legislature to introduce legislation for the building of a new Simon Sanchez High School, so far, we've only seen one senator speak on the topic. Don Sulat has details.
The legislature has yet to introduce any new legislation aimed at moving the Simon Sanchez project forward. So far, only Democratic Senator Will Parkinson has publicly spoken on the topic. The senator calling for a public hearing on his Bill 24338, which if passed would amend Guam's procurement law. According to the senator, Bill 24338 would replace, quote, the current rule that automatically halts procurement upon the filing of a protest with a requirement that a protester file a separate motion to stay, show immediate and irreparable harm, demonstrate a strong likelihood of success, and prove that stopping the procurement would not harm the public interest. As KUAM previously reported, the building of Simon Sanchez was halted due to a procurement protest. The renewed interest in Parkinson's Bill 243 comes after Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenorio called upon the legislature to join in a collaborative effort in building a new home for the Sharks last week, Tuesday. As we have previously reported, the Lieutenant Governor's Bill 31438, an act to build Simon Sanchez High School now, if passed, would allow the Department of Public Works, or DPW, to, quote, proceed immediately with the award, execution, and performance of the contract for the Simon Sanchez High School project, end quote. Tenorio also called upon the People's House to introduce legislation and proposals, including his, and to hold public hearings on the topic within 10 days. However, Republicans Speaker Frank Blas Jr. and Committee on Education Chair Senator Vince Borja have yet to make an official statement on the matter. KUAM reached out to both Speaker Blas and Senator Borja for comment, but none was given as of news time. For Guam's News Network, I'm Don Sulat.
Sit tight and more primetime after this.
This Memorial Day, save big at Kmart. Upgrade your home with incredible deals on home appliances, including full-size refrigerators from brands like Hisense and Wizard, starting at just $4.99. Refresh every room with stylish, affordable furniture made for comfort and everyday living. And get the sleep you've been dreaming of with the new Eon Home Mattress Collection. All in stock and ready to take home today. Don't wait. Shop these Memorial Day savings now at Kmart.
GU Self Storage, located in Harmon next to McDonald's, offers a variety of storage units. With rates starting as low as $95 per month, we offer complimentary use of dollies, push carts, appliance hand trucks, and pallet jack, with a fully covered loading and unloading areas and ADA accessible units. We offer 24-hour CCTV surveillance monitoring, alarm, and individual pin-coded gate and door access, because your safety is our priority. GU Self Storage, voted Pica's Best in 2024. Call 671-648-7867 today.
Primetime continues on KUAM. Families impacted by Typhoon Sinlaku may qualify for additional SNAP food replacement assistance. So, the Department of Public Health and Social Services announced a USDA-approved food loss waiver program for SNAP households that lost food purchased with EBT benefits during the typhoon. Now, the program is for families who already received the 63% automatic mass replacement benefit, lost more than the food amount. Covered applications will be accepted through May 11th through Thursday the 14th from 8 to 5. Families can apply by emailing forms to snapfoodloss@dphss.guam.gov, dropping off forms in person at Castle Mall, Units 15 and 16 in Mingilao, and approved benefits will be added to EBT cards within a week and a half after approval. For more information, you can contact the SNAP Disaster Call Center at 735-7310. Well, the American Red Cross is now offering financial assistance to residents whose primary homes were destroyed or suffered major damage during Super Typhoon Sinlaku. Red Cross caseworkers will be available at Space 111 at the Micronesia Mall from Tuesday the 12th through Friday the 15th from 11 to 7. To help, qualified applicants may apply, as applicants must provide proof of identity and residence, including government IDs, utility bills, rental agreements, or mayor's verification letters. Officials do emphasize the assistance is separate from any government program, does not need to be repaid, and is available regardless of citizenship status. Meanwhile, GovGuam says the island remains under an emergency declaration and a major disaster declaration has not been approved. Residents are urged to continue to report damage to their mayor's office as local federal assessments are continuing. Over in Orda Talampago, Agueda I. Johnston Middle School has earned a 6-year accreditation renewal from the Accreditation Commission for Schools and Western Association of Schools and Colleges. All right, go Pirates. GDOE says the renewal extends the school's accreditation through June 30th of 2032, with the commission finding the school meets criteria following its submitted report and accreditation visit. GDOE says the renewal reflects the school's commitment to continuous improvement, the school-wide action plan, efforts to boost student achievement. Agueda Johnson will submit a mid-cycle report during the 2028 to 2029 school year to show its continued progress. Acting Superintendent Judy Wanpat congratulated Principal Agnes Guerrero along with faculty, staff, students, and families on their noteworthy accomplishment. Also tonight, from capturing defining moments in Guam history to now being featured on an international stage, Pulitzer Prize-winning photojournalist Manny Crisostomo is set to appear in HBO's original documentary, The A-List, 15 stories from Asian and Pacific diasporas. It highlights influential voices across Asian and Pacific communities, and for Crisostomo, it's an opportunity to showcase the stories, culture, and resilience of his native heritage to a global audience. Jonah Gonçalves has this story.
Who are you? What is your identity?
I think identity is like slippery slope.
For decades, Manny Crisostomo has told stories through a camera lens, capturing Chamorro culture, identity, and community. But this time, the storyteller became the story.
As you know, Joan, I prefer to be on the other side of the camera, and I prefer to be telling the stories instead of being the story. But I just viewed it as an opportunity to have this sort of larger megaphone, this larger platform to talk about the thing that's important to me, which is our people, which is the Chamorro people, the indigenous people of Guam and the Marianas.
Crisostomo is one of 15 individuals featured in HBO's documentary, The A-List, 15 Stories from Asian and Pacific Diasporas, a film that moves beyond broad labels to tell personal stories of identity, culture, and belonging. And for Crisostomo, it all started with an email he thought was too good to be true.
They sent me a really nice letter, and first of all, I thought somebody was like, all right, who's messing with me, right? Who's punking me with this letter? I'm familiar with the producer, the executive producer, Timothy Greenfield Sanders. I'm a big fan of his from his years he's still a photographer, and now he's ventured into documentaries. And yeah, it was just sort of an email, opening up my email, and there was a note from one of the producers asking me to be part of this. It's still, and I think this was maybe a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago.
He eventually flew to New York for a 3-hour interview, one that would be edited down to just a few minutes of film. But in that short time, he made sure the heart of the Chamorro people was front and center.
A lot of it is just my anecdotal experience photographing Chamorros and what I feel in my heart. I talked about mahalang and tried to explain to them what mahalang meant, that there's this longing, this deep longing as Chamorros that we have. And I told them that a good friend of mine said the only real way to mitigate the mahalang is develop a sense, the mahalang, the longing, the only way to mitigate the longing is to develop a sense of belonging.
For Crisostomo, that belonging has always been found through community, whether on Guam or thousands of miles away.
If I can't be in Guam, I am all over the country going to Chamorro festivals, Chamorro events. My neighbors are across the street are Chamorro, so it's really exciting. I have a lot of people in the neighborhood that are Chamorros. I go to a Chamorro restaurant in the Mission District in San Francisco, and I just kind of find our peoples.
He also used the interview to explain one of the most important Chamorro values, Enough Maulit. Crisostomo recalling how he gifted the director one of his personal shirts after the interview.
I said, dude, I just spent 3 hours trying to explain to you what Chamorro Enough Maulit means. It's this giving, it's this sharing, it's the support and stuff. I said, I'm going to give you a shirt that cost me maybe $30 to make, but invariably you're going to, edit and put the Chamorro people throughout a worldwide distribution. Take the shirt. It's okay. It's like, oh, I can pay you. I said, no, that's enough Maulit. It's a reciprocal trade, even though I'm getting the better end of the deal because he's editing me. He's putting me in this amazing film with these 14 other amazing folks. And he wants my shirt. I give him my shirt.
Well, the documentary puts him in the spotlight. Crisostomo says the mission has never changed.
I'm going to continue to do what I'm doing, regardless of this documentary. There'll be more awareness. There'll be more, that people understand a little bit about who we are. Talking about our culture, talking about Nafat Maulit, Tansuli, Costumbre and Chamorro.
And above all else, he says it's critical that Chamorros control their own narrative.
It's really important to me that we tell our stories, that, it's us telling our story, not somebody else from the outside telling everybody else what the Chamorros are like. It's an amazing platform to tell the world who we are. I hope I do a good job. I hope I don't embarrass myself.
And for the next generation of Chamorro artists and storytellers, he hopes the moment shows them it's possible.
I hope they're inspired by it.
The A-List, 15 stories from Asian and Pacific diasporas, premieres May 14th on HBO Max. Jonagan Charfris, KUAM News.
Now for a look at your world at home.
As islanders, we always appreciate the water, so here is a beautiful shot of the slow-moving river over in Menengan.
Now it pays to spread the Better Together experience. With our brand new referral program, you can earn up to $150 in account credits for every referral you bring in. That's right, family, neighbors, friends, even your coworkers. Just pass them your account name and account number. When they sign up for Docomo Pacific service and drop your info, cha-ching! Credit applied. So spread the word and start stacking those savings. Additional conditions may apply. Docomo Pacific, we're better together.
Drinks aren't new at McDonald's. Coffee? Until they are. All new drinks are here.
Tonight's sports feature is brought to you by Cars Plus.
Wesley kicks out. Simon, big three. Oh, baby! Wesley kicks out. Simon, big three. Oh, baby!
Don't need a work break, keep the smile on your face. The moments you can't replace, and I'll be around. Whoa, you can count on me. You can count on me for life.
Wherever life takes you, we're always here for you. Calvo's Insurance. Count on us for life.
Freedom, that's a cheap thing. Freedom to ignore this, that's a cheap thing. Sacrificing facial hair to nature and involuntary blood donations, cheap things. No one signs up for an 800-pound bear chase. But if it happens, cheap thing. VIP parking, exfoliating, treating gravity like a suggestion, saying, it'll dry. Free-range parenting, forgetting if that's a moose or an elk, all cheap things. Remembering without saying it. Couldn't be more of a cheap thing. Sweating your tail off, freezing your tail off, and Americans saving another American's tail. Cheap things. Making a cheap vehicle for only people with cash like him? Not a cheap thing. Or confusing capability with unaffordability? No, not a cheap thing. Making adventure affordable? Now that's a cheap thing. So we're bringing you more cheap things this year, because cheap things should be everyone's thing.
News Bites is brought to you by Docomo Pacific Better Together, Fresco Clothing, original custom design apparel of Guam and the Marianas. When you earn the badge and you become an officer of the law, it is to protect and serve. And you know what, guys? The last time I caught up with my friends over at GPD about the Project U program, it was right around the holidays. It was over at the GCA Trades Academy over there in Teadsden. And there is a line, you guys, of GPD officers, deputized law enforcers that are waiting. They want so bad to be part of this program because they want to help our youth make smart decisions, make good decisions, teach them how to be good citizens, teach them how to make positive choices in their life so that they can be part of our wonderful community. And I'm telling you, the officers really want to be part of it. It's not a detail, it's not an assignment for them, it is a calling, right? So make sure to go check it out if you need to. They're using sports, which you know I'm all about, leadership skills, really, really wonderful choices. Make sure to register. The program dates are later on this month, all the way until June 19th. And again, if you want to watch the previous story that we did on this, make sure to check out on YouTube. Just search and look for Project U. Watch the officers talk about how much they enjoy doing this, right? It's a mission for them. It's really, really wonderful work out there. Project U does so many things, all the way back to like my good buddy Sergeant Paul Tapau doing things with like using kickball as a means for turning out good citizens, you know, crafts, arts, you know, contributing to the island economy. Really good stuff. And thank you, GPD, the men and women in blue. We appreciate you guys so much. All right, flavors of Micronesia. When you have time to enjoy our wonderful region and the culture that we have, it's coming up, you guys. May 16th is this week, and you can head down to the Valley of the Lati. Go over there and make sure to go check it out because you're going to be take that wonderful riverboat cruise. And, you know, Jacob Sablon from our production team and says it's amazing how the boat can really hang a Yui in that tight little space there on the river and turn around. And you can be part of that too. And make sure, again, that when you get to the mainland over there, when you get to the main part of Valley of the Lati, say Guelo Zanguela, make sure that you follow the guides and everything, and then enjoy the flavors of Micronesia because all of the wonderful types of food, the types of culture, the types of love, everything is going to be on display, and we are going to be able to celebrate it all down there in God's country, right on the river. And make sure to charge your phone because that is one of the most selfie-worthy places in the world. You know, bring your super duper camera too, and take videos too. That's awesome too. All right, and the Run Walk for Autism is coming up too. It's a 2K, it's a 5K, it's down at Chamorro Village. It is happening on the 24th. It's on a Sunday, right? A lot of these 5Ks are on a Saturday. This one's going to be on a Sunday, and this is on the afternoon one. So is there anything better than on the day of rest, right? The Lord's Day, when the sun's going down, to be able to do something with the community, to make a positive change, to show you support families that are dealing with autism, and that we do this all as an island family. It doesn't cost you that much for the registration, and you get the super cool dry fit, and you will be able to rock the color of teal because that is Autism Awareness Month all month long. throughout May. We are showing our support, we are showing our undying love, and we are gonna get together and run. I'm personally gonna walk. Me and Jenna are gonna walk because, you know, like we're walkers, but, you know, we'll be there right alongside you guys, just maybe like 500 feet behind, because again, you know, all you sprinters can go do your personal best and everything. I'll be bringing up the rear, all right? But one thing that I am leading is tonight's birthday shout out, so here we go. Happy birthday number 21 to Hannah Gogui. Hannah, may God continue to bless you and protect you. Your G Familia is sending you all their very best. Happy 21st, happy Monday, and happy birthday to Hannah. We hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Want to wish your special someone a happy birthday? Just click the QR code here on your screen or email birthdayclub@kuam.com. The interview's next. Matsuki Hirayama sits down with JQ, John Kanata, the executive manager of the Guam International Airport. Stay tuned.
From sauce to dust to nuggets. Diablo dusted crispy chicken nuggets. No, they don't come in mild. That would make like 0 sense with the name. Or the whole explosion thing we just did. New Diablo Dusted Crispy Chicken Nuggets. A brand new classic. Only at Taco Bell.
Everyone has goals. Saying yes helps you get there.
Retirement, huh?
Yes. When is it your turn?
I'm working on it.
And well deserved.
Could I be a truck guy?
Oh yeah, we totally see truck guy.
Can we really do that right now?
Yeah, wild, right?
Can we start that college fund?
Yes. Because yes is so much more than the answer to a question. First Hawaiian Bank. It all starts with yes.
Half a day, I'm Matsuki Hirayama. Welcome back to another edition of The Interview, where we dive deeper into issues that matter to our community. And today we're being joined by John Kanata. He's the executive manager of the Guam International Airport Authority. John, half a day.
Half a day, and half a day to the people of Guam.
Right, and the last time we spoke actually was just last week, where the airport just recently launched its CAP program. Can you tell us a little bit more about how that's been going so far? I know it's still like fresh, right?
Right, it's one of our newest program, and you know we didn't do this on our own. People think that we're trying to get people into the airport because of the duty-free issue and stuff, but no, this is happening nationwide, and so we've mirrored programs in the U.S. and it's the CAP program stands for Concourse Access Pass, and what this does is it allows folks to go in and enjoy going to the duty-free shops or going into the food and beverage areas where the restaurants, and possibly have their lunch or dinner or even breakfast there and stuff. That's the target of our program, but it doesn't necessarily say that you cannot go in there and maybe have the last breakfast or last lunch with your relatives or loved ones that are leaving off island, and enjoy the last few times with them and the last few moments before you get on the aircraft to depart.
Yeah, and that's something we haven't seen in decades since the 9/11 happened, and
right.
how security really tightened up. So it's
right.
Really going to be interesting to see how people will be able to go inside, and even if they're not non-ticket holders, to be able to say goodbye to their family. And how many people have applied so far?
So since we launched this program last week, like on Thursday, surprisingly, there's a lot of people taking advantage. There was 200 that applied, that requested access. 164 took advantage of it. Wow. So that's a very good response to a program that we just launched last week.
Right, and as you mentioned, this program was, of course, it's also approved by TSA, and it's rolling out in other airports across the nation. But it's also, the main goal, as you mentioned, was to increase revenues for the airport.
Right.
Can we talk a little bit more about how the airport's revenues are doing? Has it been impacted at all? For example, like Typhoon Sinlaku, and of course, we're still recovering from tourism.
Right, so the airport, since COVID-19 hit, Guam International Airport, and even Saipan, CNMI, we are the most affected by you know, what's been happening with COVID. It started at COVID. We have not recovered with that, and there's lots of factors. And one of the factors is, of course, our tourism numbers are not to the level of 2019. We were doing very, very well in 2019, and when COVID hit, it just drastically dropped. We're slowly recovering, and our amount of arriving tourists are starting to pick up. However, we've hit a snag when Typhoon Mawar came. So we got that. We slowed down a little. And then, of course, what we're suffering now is Typhoon Senlako, and also the ongoing operations that's going on in Iran in the Straits of Hormuz. So that's affecting airlines everywhere, worldwide, where the airline fuel charges is drastically gone up. And so what's affecting us is airlines, especially coming in from Korea, has drastically reduced their flights to Guam. Some airlines have from going from daily to 4 times weekly, and that's because of the fuel prices going up drastically in their airports.
Right, and I wanted to ask you about, I mean, you kind of talked about it already, but regarding with the Iran conflict ongoing and the resulting fuel fluctuations, how is the airport handling that? I know GVB has said they're rolling out airline incentives to encourage passengers from or visitors from Korea to come to Guam. Are you seeing an impact already, or are we still kind of like, especially with like the summer months, you know?
Right, we're certainly seeing the impact of what's going on in Iran. Like I said, we were projecting, and the airlines already advised us that there's going to be the airline seat capacity it will be going down. However, we still need to partner up with GVB to making sure that, okay, if those airline seat capacities go down, we need to make sure that the seats or the aircraft coming in are filled. If we fill that, then we'll still be able to lessen the blow of the number of arriving flights coming in. So let's say if a airline's coming in 4 times or daily, and they're coming in 4 times weekly, we want to make sure that those aircrafts are coming in fully loaded. Their seat capacity at least over 90%.
Right, and I know the goal has always been to go back to at least the 1 million marker, right, from pre-COVID. Do you feel like that goal will be met this year, or will it be difficult?
Yeah, so pre-COVID, we're at like 1.9 million visitors. We had over 3 million in as far as employment, because GVB goes by tourist arrivals. The airport goes by employments, and employment means it's not only just arrivals but departures and also transiting passengers. So that's how we gauge ourselves and stuff. We are not at that level. Last year we got up to the 1 million mark, and we were starting to see the increase. And then of course what's going on now, the current events that's going on now, has definitely made an impact. Another one of the factors that we're dealing with is the dollar, the strength of the dollar versus the yen or the won or even the peso. The strength of the dollar is so high, and you have now tourists that were coming to Guam are now looking at staying at home and traveling within their country until such time that the strength of their currency starts to strengthen.
Right, and aside from the arrivals and departures, of course, that's how the airport makes its money, but a big chunk of it as well is the concessions, right?
Yes.
And of course, we know that the Lotte duty-free contract is still under negotiation. Can you tell us, what can you tell us regarding the current situation?
Well, we're under discussion right now with Lotte to do an extension. That's still being discussed and going back and forth in making sure that we dot the I's and cross the T's. And so that's still ongoing. Once that's done, then we can address about extension, right? There is, however, a RFP out now for specialty concessionaire, and that RFP will close on May 29th. And so hopefully that in May 29th that we will get some interested concessionaires to come in and bid, and hopefully we can get the best bid possible. Till such time, at this time, because that RFP is out, we can't go further in discussing anything with that contract because we want to make sure that it's fair for all that are trying to bid.
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist, over 20 years of experience.
The last time I spoke with some of the board members from the airport regarding this, how there seems to be or whether or not there is a conflict with the Lotte duty-free contract extension that we're trying to do up to 3 years, and then also the RFP for the concessions. Could you explain why there's no conflict of having both of those ongoing?
Well, definitely the RFP going out that was always a plan, right? Because the current contract ends July 20th. And so because of all the issues that we had to deal with, the delay in getting these things done, we're at to the level where that we might be coming very, very close to the contract ending and maybe not even having a vendor out there or a concessionaire. So we need to make sure that we continue to be positive and hoping that when the RFP closes on May 29th, that we will have potential bidders that will come in and bid. And there's several factors. Things may happen that, if we have several folks that will bid, that would be awesome. But then we might also look like nobody might bid, right? Because of the situation going worldwide, it's hard. And duty free has changed. They've morphed. If you go travel out worldwide, it's not just Guam, but everywhere. The duty free shops in airports has been evolving to different kinds of things that they're selling now.
Right. And are you able to share how many, companies have bidded currently, or is that not?
Oh yeah, that's not. It definitely has to go through a single point of contact, which we do have, and none of that is shared with any of us until May 29th, because people, whether they're going to bid or not, we don't know. We're hoping, we're crossing our fingers that people do go out and bid, but until such time May 29th comes, we won't know that number in as far as who's bidding, or if there's any potential or interest.
Right. And how long could that RFP process take? Because just going down the timeline, as you mentioned, the Lotte duty-free contract, it expires in June, right?
July 20th, 2026.
And then it's May 29th for the RFP.
Right. Right.
So how long could the RFP process take from there?
Well, once the May 29th deadline comes, and if there's any takers, if there's any bidders, or there's one bidder or maybe no bidders, then we'll know what we have to do from there. We obviously don't want an empty shelf after July 20th. And so that we're hoping that we can make sure that that does not happen.
And does the negotiation seem to be going well with Lotte?
Yes, right now, we're both being good stewards in discussion, but we also got to make sure that we look out for the best interests of the airport and to the people of Guam. And Lotte is doing the same thing. They want to make sure that if they're going to stay, that they can have some kind of profitability to stay on until such time there's a new vendor that comes in.
Right, and I feel like that's where it's interesting where the CAP program, the Concourse Access Pass program, comes in, because especially with DFS, Guam, and Tumon closing down, now visitors and residents alike have the opportunity to go to the airport to access the duty-free shopping that we have.
Right. Coincidentally, people will think that that's why we're doing this CAP program, but it's not. It's done. It's being done with other airports in the U.S. that are doing very well in their passenger arrivals and stuff. So it's something that airports are allowing now, and they're to the point. TSA is to the point where we can safely secure our sterile areas where they can allow people to go in and out. Now, mind you, that CAP program, that is scrutinized, so it goes through background checks and so forth to make sure that the people that are affording to use that program, that there's no questionable background interests besides trying to go in there for shopping or possibly seeing their friends off or relatives off.
Right, and I do want to note, like you mentioned last week with me in our interview, and of course in our report as well, there is no, or there's a completely prohibition for people to buy alcohol and tobacco, right?
That's correct. So they can buy all the different types of things that duty-free is selling, with the exception of alcohol and tobacco.
And have you been able to see what people have been, I guess, purchasing so far?
No, because it was a weekend, right? So I will probably get some kind of feedback when I get back this week. I'll have our division head meeting that will probably give us that feedback on what is the target or what is the most sought after items that these guys are coming out. So it's too early for me right now, and I'll probably get some feedback this week.
Right, and of course, there's also that security concern, as we talked about before as well. Has the TSA been able to handle it well? Things are going well?
So far, so good. We're going to get feedback, but if there was something of a security concern over the weekend when they were doing this program, I would have been made aware already. So no news is good news for me.
So far, going smoothly.
Yes, ma'am.
Right, and we kind of talked about the airport's revenue as well, right, with all this happening. And you mentioned, we were kind of talking off camera earlier, but you were informing me that the GIA is actually an autonomous agency, so you guys don't go before the legislature for budget talks. But could you explain how that's working out itself for the community who might not be aware?
So what happens is GIA, we get our budget together and we get all the 9 divisions of GIA and what it takes to operate, how much is it going to cost to operate the whole airport for the year. Mm-hmm. We take that, and then once we scrub it and we try to be as frugal as possible, we take that and then we give that to the airlines, all the signatory airlines that are at GIA. And when we do that, then the airlines would start to scrutinize our budget, and the airlines will look at exactly everything that we put through, like what is it CIP projects that are going on, what is it are you providing us a more safe and secure airport to arrive and depart in, and so forth, and then they'll scrutinize that. At the end of the day, the airlines will give us their projection of how many passengers that they're going to be bringing in for that year. You take that total amount of projections and you divide that, of course, into the total amount that we're looking at for the year, and that's how you come up with the budget for the airport. The airlines definitely, like I said, scrutinizes, and not only the airlines, but also FAA looks at what we're putting in to make sure that, hey, you're either asking for too much here, or you're not asking for enough here, or you're missing this part of the operations, right? To make sure that it's covered. So it's scrutinized. By August of this year, the airlines would have already given us feedback, yay or nay, or we have issues here. Can we look at cutting costs here, or we really need to change, improve our loading bridges, and let's put this into the budget and stuff. So all those are at. In August, once that has gone out, then we take that and we give it to the board for their approval, and that's how our budget is approved for the year.
Wow. So it's really interesting to see how that works compared to the other agencies of GovGuam.
Freedom, that's a cheap thing. Freedom to ignore this, that's a cheap thing. Sacrificing facial hair to nature and involuntary blood donations, cheap things. No one signs up for an 800-pound bear chase, but if it happens, cheap thing. VIP parking, exfoliating, treating gravity like a suggestion, saying it'll dry. Free-range parenting, forgetting if that's a moose or an elk, all cheap things. Remembering without saying it, couldn't be more of a cheap thing. Sweating your tail off, freezing your tail off, an American saving another American's tail. Cheap things. Making a cheap vehicle for only people with cash like him? Not a cheap thing. Or confusing capability with unaffordability? No, not a cheap thing. Making adventure affordable? Now that's a cheap thing. So we're bringing you more cheap things this year, because cheap things should be everyone's thing.
And you talked about CIP projects. Of course, you guys held a groundbreaking ceremony for the roof refurbishment project. I believe it was some $21 million. How has that been going so far? What phase are we in?
Well, we just started. We gave the notice to proceed. So that first phase is $21 million. That's for the replacement of the third floor roof. And if you go back to Mawar, when the airport was flooded, our roof, of course, was a main issue that the water built up so far. Our drainage system didn't hold, and then just like all around the island, Mawar was a different kind of storm because a lot of the leaves got stuck in our drainage system that made the roof build up so much water like a lake. And then, of course, it gave way. But that whole roof is going to be replaced. And what's going to happen is that while they're also doing that, replacing that roof, they're prepping it up so that we can put on solar panels on our roof. So they're going to have the brackets ready to go so that phase 2 comes in. And that's when the solar panels come in. Solar panels and, of course, the battery backup that goes in. When that's all complete, that's going to cost about $30 million for both projects, and then we will see a savings year to year of at least $1.2 million of savings to the Guam International Airport Authority. But it also helps GPA with the grid. It helps them with the amount of power that they use on a daily basis, the megawatts that they use. We'll be able to assist them in not using that on their power grid.
And this is all federally funded, right?
This is a federal grant. It's a 90-10 where FAA pays for 90% of the project, and then we come up with the 10%.
Right. And is that the only capital improvement projects currently underway at
the airport? No, right now we have our terminal floor project that's almost done. If you remember back in Mawar, the Customs and Border Protection and the Guam Customs area inspection areas were all carpet. Mm-hmm. And of course, when that was flooded, we had to gut out all the carpet because there was no way we can take all that water on. And then it started to mold up, right, in different areas. So we want to prevent that from happening again. So we decided to make that terrazzo floors, where that in case it gets flooded again, we were able to just suck out all the water and just recover as quick as possible with hard floors instead of carpet. And then we don't have to worry about replacing the floors again. Stuff. So that's ongoing. That's about 90%. We have our apron that's going around the airport. So the cargo, not the cargo, but the apron going around is being replaced. And so every loading bridge or every gate that it's at, it's being renewed, where that the surface will not sink when the aircraft comes in and stuff. So all that's being renewed. That's happening. We're also having our cargo apron that's going to be coming, which if you go down to the cargo buildings and stuff, right now you got no aircrafts that are parked in front of the cargo building because there's no place for them. Eventually, down the line, the cargo apron will go all the way down there where our cargo planes can park right in front and unload right there in front. So that will be done. Our loading bridges, they're really aged, and so we're starting to replace five of the loading bridges out of the 21. We're replacing 5, and that's start. And eventually we will replace all the loading bridges, make it new. We're also replacing the AC system in those loading bridges and the power system. So when an airline or airplane docks into the loading bridge, now what they do is they hook up from a truck the power supply into the plane. In the future, when you load in, we'll be able to power up the plane from the loading bridge and provide air cons when you get out of the airplane. The loading bridge will be air conditioned and stuff, so it'll be cooler, and so that's happening. Our security gates are going to be moved. It's going to be improved. It's going to move down, and so we can extend out our cargo apron down there. We have what we call door 202. Right now, when a passenger comes in from any foreign country and they're going to transit to another, let's say they're going to go to Honolulu, right? So they'll come in and they'll have to go through Customs and Border Protection. When they go to Customs and Border Protection, when they're cleared there, then they go down to Guam Customs, clear out of Guam Customs, get out of the airport, and then enter back in. What we're doing is we call it door 202, when they get out of Customs and Border Protection, because they have to be entered into the United States, right? They come into Customs and Border Protection. So instead of going down to Guam Customs and then getting out, they'll go from Customs and Border Protection right back into the TSA and right into the airport. So we're making that passenger experience a lot more pleasant and stuff. We're also looking at zero emission vehicles that we've already was awarded, was approved, and the final process was approved by the AG, and now we're giving it to the contractor that won the bid to provide us with electric vehicles, because that's part of the program with FAA is we're trying to transition some of these